all the skill needed to get elected New York City's mayor, Zohran Mamdani has one talent that might top them all, turning old foes into new friends and turning tense encounters into great PR. The mayor was all smiles as he greeted King Charles and Queen Camilla today at the 9/11 Memorial in Lower Manhattan. You might never know that he was throwing shade toward the royals and leading up to their visit here. The mayor made it clear before the ceremony that he was attending to honor the victims, lest anyone think he was there to honor the king. His office said there would be no private meeting between the mayor and the monarch. And at a press conference today before the ceremony, Mamdani said if he did have a chance to meet with the king, he would ask him to return the Koh-i-Noor diamond, which the king's mother, Queen Elizabeth II, wore in a crown. Critics of the monarchy have long accused the British of stealing that diamond from India. Mamdani has been open about his opposition to what the monarchy represents. His academic father's work focused on anti-colonialism. And just last month, in a speech for St. Patrick's Day, Mamdani focused on Ireland's strength when it stood up to British rule. The royal family's riches don't help the matter either. Mamdani's been leaning hard into his tax the rich agenda, proposing a brand new tax on luxury second homes in New York City, even targeting one Manhattan billionaire by name. You can imagine Mamdani's feelings about a family that could easily lose count of all its castles, palaces, towers, and estates. But after all the buildup, Mamdani once again managed to surprise. We can't hear what they're saying, but it's hard to imagine he's discussing any demands about returning massive diamonds. Not unlike his two visits to meet with President Trump, where after calling him a fascist, the two of them were standing there like they were best friends. Joining us now is NewsNation correspondent-at-large Geraldo Rivera and the host of Batya on NewsNation, Batya Ungar-Sargon. Great to have you both here.
Nice to be here.
So what did you make, Geraldo? I'll start with you since you're sitting right next to me. What did you make of Mayor Mamdani saying, I think I'm going to ask him to return this billion? You said it was worth $1 billion.
I think north of $1 billion.
North of $1 billion.
One of the biggest gems, uncut gems existent on Earth.
So is it just political posturing by Mamdani?
Yeah.
Why bring it up?
I mean, he's a communist, I think, but he's also well-raised. And he did not use the occasion to insult the monarch in New York. New York is open to everybody, from communists to capitalists. We like them all. You know, there is a drain of people who pay taxes in the town where the mayor has such an ambitious social agenda.
Yeah,
or someone say socialist agenda. Someone's got to pay for it all. But in this case, I think it was the tabloids really that were playing the mayor rather than the mayor. Yeah. Just it was for a time. You know, I said, no, I can't believe here the king has come, and the king has been a stud. He has been so classy. He has done everything he can, and very effectively, I think, to repair the special relationship that the United States has with Great Britain.
At a time of great tension.
A great tension and war that Britain refuses to help us to participate in. So I thought that the stage was set for a catastrophe, but Mayor Mamdani proved that he really was up to the job, that his election's not an accident.
Okay, all right, we'll see. As a New York City resident, the jury's still out. Batya, Geraldo makes a good point. This was the speech of his life for King Charles. Yesterday in Congress, last night at the White House. Today he's laying flowers at the 9/11 Memorial as a reminder, not just that the UK stands with the United States, but also to honor all the British citizens who were killed on 9/11. There were many of them. What do you make of his whole visit and his charm offensive, which seems to be working with President Trump?
You know, it's so interesting. It's America 250, right? So one is feeling, you know, the joy of the sloughing off of the chains of a monarch and a sovereign, right?
Right.
And if Mamdani had just said that, you know, if he had stood as a proud American and said, I will not bend the knee, I would have loved it. But that is not what he did. What he did was actually this kind of passive-aggressive, beta male, third world grievance on behalf behalf of India. And to me, that was just such a split screen with how President Trump has greeted this visit. President Trump has greeted the visit as if this sovereign was coming to placate him, right? Yeah. That is what King Charles was doing. He was coming to mend that divide, to show President Trump that the British people still love him and us. And I think it was a split screen between third world grievance culture and leftism, and then first world sovereignty as embodied by the president in his magnanimity and his magnanimous greeting towards this sovereign who is not our sovereign.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure the British people right now have a lot of positive feelings. Polls show that they're actually quite negative on the United States and President Trump right now, but they're the Brits and we're not. You know, that's their problem to deal with. King Charles had a big mission here, which is to try and smooth some rough political waters. And I think pretty much everybody, but most notably President Trump, agrees it was mission accomplished.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.